Hey everybody, welcome to Things Are Getting Sketchy, entering the green tonight. We're gonna have a full house right now. We're short one artist, but Casey is on her way, and she was just having connection issues, and those connection issues were my fault. I forgot to give her the link, so she'll be here
Whoa.
shortly. But in the meantime, we have three of the four artists with us. We've got Mike Rooth,
Hey guys.
Karl Waller,
Good evening.
and Brandon Mackintosh joining us back again.
Hello.
Excellent. And like I said, KC will be joining us here in a moment. So as soon as she jumps in. Hey, I see her hand. She is here. Give me one second.
There she is.
Yeah. Give me 1 second to bring her in, and we will have her in here. So, Mike, while I'm doing that, what are you drawing tonight?
So I haven't had I'm gonna do a swamp thing, I think. I got this little piece of green paper. Well, it's not little, it's about almost 10 by almost 15, kind of a weird scrap piece. But I'm going to do a swamp thing, and I'm going to use found objects to do the inking, and we'll probably use some found objects to also apply some paint, and we'll see how that goes. That's the plan, anyway.
Excellent. So the flex is going to be the found object.
Yeah. I don't have any muscles to flex with, so it'll be found objects tonight.
All right. Karl, what about you? What are we doing tonight?
We're going to do Poison Ivy, and she is holding Swamp Thing's severed head. And this is going to be 11 by 17, black and white.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, we'll have to come back and have the conversation on whether that would work or not. I'm wondering if, Swamp Thing, could regenerate his head, or does he actually keep, because he is, he's not human. He's just the essence. Yeah, I see.
Right. So he doesn't necessarily have to be dead here, but
yeah, you can clobber that guy, man, and he just kind of exists.
Yeah. He's crabgrass. He's going to come back next season for sure.
Yep.
KC, are you with us at the moment, or are we just seeing you? Hey.
So I'm my settings.
Yeah, we can hear you a little choppy, but we can hear you. We'll come back to you in a minute then. We'll give you a second to get set up, and we'll circle back around.
Okay.
Brendan, what you got, buddy?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to be doing I'm not too sure how many of you are familiar with the Heisei series of the Godzilla films. I believe that's the name of it, is the second reboot series of them. The 17th film was Godzilla versus Biollante. So I'm going to be doing a die cut of Biollante. So it's going to be a full wrap die cut. I had to get color on it now or beforehand, because if I didn't, I would have been spending the 2 hours waiting for paint to fucking dry, and I wasn't going to spend my time with my thumb on my ass doing that. So I had to color it first. At least now, when once Fishy starts, I can start slicing into this using Surgeon's tool right here, and should be fun. See how it turns out.
That is going to be killer. I cannot wait for that to go up. Because...
Oh, also, I should probably mention it's. I can thank Mike for this, because he gifted me this one. I do not have any Green Arrow comics, so this is on Green Arrow. So it's still keeping with the green theme, just with this guy. So yeah.
You can put like an arrow in his eye.
There you go.
Yeah, so that way it can actually be a Green Arrow cover. Casey.
All right.
Ooh,
here.
A box of things being brought out too. What you breaking out?
Okay, so I wanted this style on.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
And I'm just gonna go in, and I'm just gonna do a aggressive, like not tight, like let the colors play through it. Just zoomed in. Nothing too ambitious.
Nope. Very cool. Oh, and I was mentioning off camera before we started, but I don't know if everybody saw the post or not, but Dan Chichester will be joining us at 7:30 to talk about his comic career and his new book that he has partnered up with Karl Waller. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
As I go into shameless promo mode.
Yes. He is lofting Karl mightily onto his shoulders to bring for the great book Axel's Infernal, which I've read the first 5 issues. So unless there's been a lot of big changes, I can highly recommend people getting on board this one. And that's my shameless plug for you guys.
So, Stefan, what are you drawing tonight?
Beer. Yeah. No, I actually have my
Again?
Yeah, I do have a setup for the night that we don't have an artist and someone who can't fill in. And I will be doing my etchings of the mighty men and monsters. So, but
Oh, nice.
Have you been waiting this long to get us up?
oh no, I just it's one of those things where I'll get to it when I want to get to it. I'm not in a rush. I'd rather because my art skills are so poorly done that I will most likely fuck up an etching. So yeah, even with the template and colored pencils, I'm still gonna butcher it. So
Okay, I've got an idea. Have you ever seen like paint along wine night?
yeah.
We should totally have like a paint along wine night where somebody comes up with like a full follow along drawing and with like a set short supplies. And people like get their supplies and they show up, maybe
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody drinks and follows along. I don't know.
No, hey, I'm
Might
down
work
to,
for geek stuff. It works for overdone photos of like a tree silhouetted against the moon. So why shouldn't it work for fan art?
yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm down to clown with this.
Totally.
Yeah. The after the break return of tags, that sounds like perfect light fare for that. So yeah.
Everyone could do a painting of it's either Wolverine or 2 Batmen kissing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone could do a step by step of that,
Yep.
No. Like if it's gonna be Batman, no, it should be like just like a super shiny like Batman Forever bat, like focus on learning how to do the gleam off of like bat butt.
With the nipples. We
Yeah.
need
Yes,
the nipples.
The
obvious.
nipples, yeah.
Frankly, I don't know why he didn't have nipples all along.
I think
So many babies.
really what this is all leading to is we need an armored nipple night. All different instances where nipples have appeared on armor. We'll just take it there. We'll just go there with it.
And every one of those pieces should be like an extreme close up. So you have to be able to tell who it is by their actual armor.
Like I'm thinking, there's going to be some Roman movies where there's some nipples on the breastplates.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I think Excalibur. I'm pretty sure Mordred's like the sun there, like the cool gold mask. I'm pretty sure he also has nipples on his armor.
You just got to go into the 1980s sword and stuff. You can't tell
pretty
me there's
much,
not.
yeah.
Like if anybody's wearing armor and mask, somebody's got. Don't know who. Don't know how. Not sure I want to, but they definitely.
Oh, I want to know. That's the backstory I'm here for. Because
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm the same sentiments.
yeah, because the person's there talking to the blacksmith, going, this is really nice, but it's missing something. And the blacksmith's like, I've got it. Takes like a small little hammer and like ping ping, puts the nipple. And there's a gasp, and it's done. It's perfect.
Would we treat Odo and Kodo like hamsters instead of ferrets?
No, that's just tacky.
Sorry.
Yeah, how could you think that? Offended all of
Well, then my job is done. I can leave. I had to take a moment and go all Quagmire on everybody.
I think Casey was even more offended by that.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
Okay, so Quagmire is one of those guys. Got to be careful about the guys like, right? Like people who are
He's
super into
not?
Rorschach, super into Walter White, Like, and I know that you're not that kind of guy. Bad memory.
Yeah. When they don't realize the villain of the show is somehow being put as a hero. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it doesn't matter that they're bad. They've got charisma.
I will say I was a big fan of Hannibal Lecter. The
Well,
series, just the way they wrote it, if they could have me rooting for the cannibal maniac, great writing. So,
Oh yeah,
are
you
you
always
talking
cheer for the
about
monster.
yes,
Oh, so good.
I never
So
seen that.
no,
dreamy.
and that the scene where the dude that murdered the dude's the like cellist guy, and he shows up and they've managed to get me rooting for Hannibal. Oh my God, guy might kill Hannibal. We can't have that. Hannibal's my hero. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's a sociopath cannibal killer. So if you can write that and make that happen, kudos.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch the series again, or the season. Because yeah, I can't remember. Did they manage to do that by actually on his charisma alone, or his charisma balanced out with just how much of a shitheel the other bad guys were?
No, he was actually just that good and that charismatic. Like, it falls down a little bit in season, but I mean that's normal for shows that aren't know they're being canceled.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all on good writing, charisma, and actual villainous.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have to check that.
And plus, the thing about Hannibal that I actually kind of liked was the dude had rule. He wasn't like just some batshit crazy guy that would just kill you because he wanted to kill you. And that's part of what made him so interesting to me was he had rule.
Yeah, if there's a code, if there's a code of some kind, that you can respect that even when it's criminal things.
I mean, he should still be locked up.
Sure, yeah.
Although there were some people that were total a-holes, and I'm like, you know what? You have my permission to kill that person.
Exactly. It is kind of. I think that's one of the hidden reasons why we love anti-heroes is because every now and then it's really nice to see somebody just punch the fuck.
Just get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was like for me the first time I really experienced that was The Shield, and like
hell yeah, that's an awesome show.
Yeah, but halfway through the first season, I had to remind myself, wait, this show opened up with him killing a good cop. Yeah, like a legit non-corrupt cop, and I'm like, if yet they've got me rooting for this guy.
Okay, so hold on, wait, Stefan. Stefan, wait, are you Team Terry? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Am I what?
Are you Team
talking
Terry?
about the guy character that was the commish but with muscles?
Yes, that's from The Shield. Unfortunately, Brandon, every time you tried to talk, someone stepped on you, so I've still not heard your question.
It's okay. No, are you Team Terry, like Terry Crowley? That's what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. It's one of.
You seem to be advocating for him.
Yeah, that's a tough call. No, but like
I don't know. When it came, it's funny that you mentioned The Shield because I just finished watching that with Bree, and she loved it. Because I found out about that many years ago before he moved. And, I always thought Kavanaugh was such a good character personally. He's probably one of my favorites besides Glenn Close's character, Rawlings.
Yeah.
Personally. So,
Yeah, the best anti-hero show that never got a chance to conclude or get its legs was Terriers. Have you guys ever seen Terriers with Donald Logue?
Good name rings
I
a
never heard
bell.
of that one.
Yeah, it was like such a good anti-hero show because they were anti-heroes, but anti-heroes you could truly get behind. Like, yeah, and one was a cop who lost his badge because he was an alcoholic and he was covered, but he did some shit he shouldn't have. And the other guy is actually a convict. It's kind of like an updated version of Hardcastle and McCormick in a way. Yeah, except for those. But yeah, and they're following the lead of a friend of one of the characters who got murdered, and just they go down deeper into the darkness of, like, we'll say kind of pseudo mob in politics in LA. But it ended, season 1 ended where the one character had to basically show up for his jail time, And they're like, if we turn left, we can make it to Mexico. We turn right, you'd serve your time. And he's like, you make the call and we'll do it. And that's where they end the season. It's like, yes, and they never picked it up again. So, yeah. But yeah, if you get a chance to see Terriers, it's a good season. Just know you're going to be disappointed at the end because you're not going to get any resolve.
Okay, guys, I just want to double check my understanding of the character before I make a mistake. Swamp Thing does not have blood, correct? Swamp Thing is a plant now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
His sap. I mean, I've seen him.
Like, there's fluids for sure, but.
And his fingers can go all rooty, I think.
That's what I like about Swamp Thing. There's not really any rules, like he's been interpreted in a number of different times and much different ways. And I think you can there's a lot of room to play with the character for sure.
Pick your favorite vegetation and go nuts.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the different versions too, like even in the Alan Moore run, the different the alien version, like the weird moon, like jug udder thing that he becomes, the blue version, which is just so weird. There's some really, really interesting takes on the character for sure.
Okay. The underlayer always looks crazy. Remember that.
The end results are what matter. Everyone loves seeing that, so you're good.
I can't get over. You guys really ought to try this. Like, I really do feel like, for sure, Karl needs to try this. Like, especially this time of year, go and get yourself like a dying flower, like a black-eyed Susan or something like that, and just bring a couple of stems in and let them dry. I'm telling you, the variety of line that I'm getting with this is when it's not random, which it's not always random. It's just there's things that this kind of thing can do that only this kind of thing can do, and it really is kind of opening my eyes to different ways of approaching drawing and stuff. That's kind of refreshing. If anything ever feels like it's getting stale or you're not sure you want to keep on hammering the same techniques, I find this has been a really good exercise for me to kind of try to break out of whatever it might be holding me back, because like this stem is like dry, but like I'm getting these big fill areas, but as I run out of ink, it's still a plant, so it's made of these long strands, these long fibers. So as it dries, I start to pull out, and I get these like really, I don't know if I can get any closer, probably not, but I get these really like super fine lines, but I'm drawing 4 and 5 little lines at a time. So it's really creating kind of a wild texture, which would be difficult to recreate with a brush, Anyway, just saying, go out there and give it a try. You might be surprised.
Well, you convinced me. I'm here next week. That's what I'll do.
Not everything's going to turn out the way you hope, but you just kind of go on with no expectations and you're fine. Like, I always get objects that I think are going to be awesome. Like, they look like they're going to be perfect, and then they actually, can't get any ink to pass over the surface on them, or I can't get anything to pull a line out. Which is a shame because, you always think, oh, I'm going to draw this, Conan with this toy Conan sword, but it doesn't work out the way you hope, If it was a wooden Conan sword, though, it'd be amazing. It would be an incredible tool. So, even, that goes back to like a popsicle stick, like, cut a popsicle stick in half diagonally or break it in half, twist it in half and get like 2 different ends, and you can pull off some incredible textures and lines, like really, really different stuff that, will probably have a purpose somewhere in your toolbox of, art tricks.
Hey, Karl, just let you know, both Sherry and Patrick are in the room here. They're saying
Hey,
hi.
Sherry, how you doing? Hey, Patrick.
You never met Patrick. Patrick's the one I talk about a lot. He's a photographer that got me addicted to doing video work.
Oh, well done, that guy.
Mm-hmm. Karl's heard many stories of Patrick. That's why I was just mentioning it.
I have. You guys were partners in crime, man. Patrick's still running Fuji stuff because he swapped out all of his Canon.
Actually, he recently purged a lot of stuff, and I forget the new camera that he got, but he was going nuts over it. But yeah, he's purged his Fujis.
Oh, man.
Patrick's going to keep you guessing when it comes to the camera equipment. But he's got that new print business, actually. He's the one that made the cup of my misprinted nameplate.
Oh, right.
That was really good.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh, he put in there for it Leica M to Rico.
Oh, he got all uppity. All right.
yeah. He's big leaguing us now.
That's the uppity camera stuff. I don't know if we can talk to us anymore. Tell you what, though, man, their lenses are just absolutely astonishing.
Hey, okay, so we are coming up on 7:30, and as we mentioned earlier, that we are going to have a visitor and guest with us. So we have Dan Chichester, who is going to be joining us to talk about his comic career and his new book that he has coming out with Karl, Axel's Infernal. So, hey Dan, how you doing?
Aw.
Jeez.
See, now I got to slow down because if Dan sees how fast I could really ink stuff.
Comic arts convention, and I had this big heavy video camera, and I'm filming all these guys or videoing all these guys, and like at one point like Kev O'Neill says to me like, oh, what are you going to do with all this videotape when you get back? And it's like, well, I'm going to blackmail like Mick McMahon because I'm actually showing him working, so it was because he was notoriously slow. But anyway,
That's one thing I heard about Adam Hughes was how fast he could draw at a convention.
So you're used to working with slow artists then, between him and Karl, right?
I used to work with very fast artists too. So I like to vary it up. I like to keep it.
Yeah. So, will I give people a chance to ask a couple questions? But why don't you give us a pitch on Axel's Infernal? And
Yeah, great. So Axel's Infernal is a fun grindhouse supernatural adventure that Karl and I have been cooking up for many years, and actually kind of something we had cooked up a long time ago. We fell out of touch, but when we came back together, the first thing that we almost said to each other, you remember that story about that girl on the road to hell, which is really what it's about. It's about this woman. I know it's the eternal story that we all want to tell. So this young woman, Percy Cross, who's extraordinarily morally compromised for various reasons, gets press gang shanghaied, hijacked into working for the Underworld Transportation Authority, which is interconnected multiplicity of multi-universal hells. So if you think about hell, hell isn't just Dante's Inferno. It's also the Egyptian hell, and it's the Aztec hell, and it's the Mesopotamian hell, and it's hells we probably haven't even thought of at any point, but they're all there. And they want to come to Earth. They want to be delivered to Earth so that belief in them maintains itself. And the more belief they have, the more power they have over humanity, or just to exist at all. So they need these human drivers and plane pilots and ship captains to deliver these things. We're focusing just on the trucking division, though, and so it's the first part of an initial 5-issue story that really drags her into this. And this first part really kicks things off in a really wild way as we start to understand her and understand the things about her that are really bad and the things about her that could be really good. And ultimately, as twisted and bizarre as the story gets, and it does, there's a really cool kind of redemptive quality to it. But it's got Karl's blowout art. It's got Wes Wong's amazing colors. We got Pat Brousseau, Eisner nominated letterer, working on it. We got Comic Craft to do a killer logo. And we've kicked this off about 2 weeks ago. So funding is moving along, but we got a lot of great rewards and reward tiers and all that kind of great stuff that people love from Kickstarter. But I think we're also getting a lot of enthusiasm just from the folks who seem to want to back it because it feels like it's a good story and they want to be part of creating it. And I could just keep rambling because there's a lot to ramble about, but hopefully that plants the seed.
Yeah, no, it is a good. I've read, I don't know if Karl told you, so I'm hopefully not getting him in trouble, but I have read the scripts that you sent him.
What the hell? Really? No. I mean, thank you for doing that.
I thoroughly enjoyed them. I mean, it was a very unique idea that I was not expecting. And, other than the mailbox, not having the flag on the right side, the art in the first issue is beautiful. So it's going to be a great book. So right now it's currently active on Kickstarter, correct?
It is. So it's at bit.ly/Axels Infernal, AXLESINFERNAL. I got it right first try. So we got about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks to go. And a little bit, to catch up with our goal. We put a fairly ambitious goal to pay everybody and make sure we could cover everything in the right way. We paid our folks well as they deserve, and we're going to add a couple of little add-ons. I think tomorrow or Monday, some great stickers that might encourage other people to have some more fun with some of the physical rewards. But there's lots of great stuff. There's original sketches, which Karl would be doing along the lines of what he's probably doing now. And there's original pages. There's variant covers. There's mini prints. So you could really get invested into this world and be a part of it. We'd love for folks to kind of come along on the ride. And that's, of course, a pun I've said about 1,000 times at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll put the link for the Kickstarter and we'll pin it in the chat, and then we'll attach it to the video too when it's all done. But
thank you.
Yeah, everybody, I suggest, I can't recommend this. I mean, it's Karl's art, so it's part of Tag, so jump on that. And if you've ever read Dan in the past, it's got some great dialogue and a just fun overall theme. So speaking of your past work and fun themes, Terror Inc.
Ah, yes.
Yes. So,
right to the heart of it.
Yeah. So the question is how did you get that past the editor to make that a book?
Oh man. Well, Terror Incorporated. So for folks who don't know, Terror Incorporated was the story of a mercenary boogeyman, assassin, troublemaker for hire, whose unique shtick was that he looked horrible. He looked like The Walking Dead, but he could grab other people's body parts and grab them and then take them for himself. And by grabbing that body part, he would then gain the advantage of it. So if he took a sniper's eye, he could see like a sniper. the baggage would come along with it. You would get the emotional baggage of it as well. So if that sniper was thinking about his young daughter that he had to leave at home because he was at war, he had to deal with that as well. So it was twisted on probably every level. So yes, how do you get this past anybody? Well, while it did show up in the Marvel universe, oddly, as Terror Incorporated, it had started off in a sub universe of the Marvel universe called the Shadow Line, which was a line of books done for Marvel, for Epic rather,
Yeah.
Epic's imprint. And Epic had a few less rules and probably oversight on it because they weren't quote unquote real. They weren't real comic books because they weren't part of the Marvel universe. So we got to just dive into that, and diving into it was one of those, I think, really creative flow channeling moments that I'll always remember, because it was the second issue of a book called St. George, and St. George was as you imagine, a failed priest who wants to go slay dragons in a way. And I was trying to come up with the villain. We knew we needed a big bad for this guy, and we couldn't come up with it. I was co-writing it with a woman named Margaret Clark, and we're banging our heads against the wall on this hot, humid, allergy-ridden New York City day, and nothing is coming. Everything we're coming up with is total shit. There's nothing good. And my allergies were flaring up, like just horrible. And I remember leaning back in the chair, and my eyes were just so red. I just said to Margaret, I would literally pay somebody to rip the eyes out of my skull right now. And then it was like, in that moment, it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's something. And the character kind of came to life, and he wrote himself. And when the Shadow Line books ended, which they did, they just didn't, they had fun, but they didn't catch fire. I thought we were done with this guy. And Marvel actually is the one who approached me a couple years later and said, we're thinking of doing a kind of a revamp of some of our monster books. We need a kind of a crypt keeper figure to introduce them. What would you think about reintroducing, and the character at that point was called Shrek, which was not a green ogre, but the German word for terror. What would you think about bringing him over? It's like, were you going to pay me? I think it's a great idea. And so they encouraged it. And when that crypt keeper thing didn't happen by their choice, they just decided they didn't want to do it. We were already kind of into it already. And they said, well, why don't you just do a standalone book? Why don't you just see what you can do with this guy? And he was the anti-hero of anti-heroes. But he was just a ball to write. I think he was like my spirit animal for the longest time.
Very cool. Yeah, because that was what. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Mike?
Yeah, there was a scene you wrote where they had to run across the top of a building that was under construction, and one of the characters asked him, "How are you? What legs do you have?" And he goes, "Navajo steelworkers."
Right. Yeah, it was. I think I stole a Ray Bradbury line at some point. It says, somebody said, you have no heart, and he was like, well, yes, I do. I keep it in a jar in my desk. It's from a small boy in Iowa, and yeah, it was pretty twisted and strange. But I will say, to this day, anybody who comes up to me who remembers that book has a very twisted, fond affection for it, which I appreciate.
It definitely was a dark series that would have liked to seen go further at Marvel, but yeah, I can understand. I can understand why Marvel.
I can't understand, but
yeah.
Well, where it was then, it was bizarre they even did it. I kind of feel it's probably more of today in a way, but maybe it would also just vanish into the background since there's other things that are darker than it. But it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah.
Was Jorge Zafino the original artist on that, or you picked him up for the series?
Klaus Janson was designed the character and was the original artist whenever he showed up in St. George for the most part. So he co-created the character, with me and Margaret, and then Jorge kind of came in, which was Mark McLaurin, who was the editor's kind of inspired choice to bring him in, and he really made it, his own. Although Richard Pace did a really amazing job on the last issue. He had come in, and I've always appreciated the take he did on it later on.
Yeah, Richard's a beast.
So I have a question about Motorhead.
Wait, before we move on, I
yeah,
just realized I've been trying to check.
Whoops.
It's not that we're not paying attention; it's the mute button. Honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just with a word of encouragement or bring the anthology stuff forward. It's not like, because here's the thing I don't like when humor, like shock humor, or when horror becomes just a race to the bottom and get gory, dark, too
Oh,
troubling. Having options beyond that, sort of the horror Overton window back, so that we can have more range. And I love a good anthology. Just
I so
anyway,
agree. So agree. It's you can get very, I think, invested in your own space in horror, especially even if it's not a race to the bottom. I think sometimes you get sort of focused on the grisly and the gory. And look, I read this book about demons, and I know all this stuff. And sometimes you're creating a kind of an insular loop that there's no room for other people to kind of come in. So, totally with you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I agree. I miss the good anthologies, and that leaves it with the Dark Horse Presents is probably one of my favorites, which brings me to Motorhead,
Yes.
which was my favorite of the year. So, was Motorhead your creation, or was Motorhead some Dark Horse created and hired you to write?
Well, Dark Horse had done these Comics Greatest World characters, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, a year or so before, maybe a little bit more before they brought me and Karl on. So there were King Tiger and Motorhead and a couple of others that I can't remember. And so they were
Ghost
there. That was
X.
their shot at their universe, right? Everybody was doing a universe in those days. So this was their kind of combination of superhero characters that were dark horses that they owned and operated. And those didn't catch wind, I guess. They ran for a little bit, and then they did this hard reboot of the characters, and some they retooled a little bit, and sometimes some of them they retooled drastically. And Motorhead was probably somewhere in the middle of there. So they brought me and Karl in, and that's where we first met and teamed up. And I don't know that the personification of the motor. So Motorhead was this big bruiser of a character who had some kind of alien entity in his head, which gave him these crazy powers, but it was also making him just feel psychotic and over energized and such. And so I think in the original iteration of it, he was just a nut job in a way. And I think that Karl and I's big contribution and epiphany was to personify the motor, like to kind of give it a I think, Karl, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I sort of remember that we were the ones who sort of said, no, let's not just have it be an entity, but like have it be a character that he's kind of having to interact with. And then we took it off in these all the reboots. The first issue was not a team up, but a confrontation with a predator. I think that was their gimmick because they had the Predator license.
Yeah,
and
they
then
did across.
and then which I think we actually made work. And then after that, we went off on our own and started to introduce a supporting cast and various and sundry villainous elements. But so we didn't create it, but I think we infused it with a 2.0 identity that it didn't have before.
Dan was real fun to work with on that because I could call him with really outrageous bullshit and say, hey, could we try this crazy thing? And his main thing would be, as long as it doesn't look stupid. All right.
I think that's maybe the same kind of thing that led us to where we are on Axel's Infernal, more or less.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, all right. Look, Dan contacts me on Facebook and says, hey, would you be interested in doing something? I said, sure. So I gave him my phone number. He calls me up and he goes, I'd like to work on you with something. Can we do something? I don't care what it is. And I went, I know exactly what you want to work on. Because we'd come up with this thing. It was just a throw off idea that I said, hey, two guys delivering shit in hell. That was it. And then sometime later, Dan sends me this prospectus that was just a mind blower. And he totally reversed it where hell was being delivered and made one of the characters female. And just the ideas that we started getting from this were so wonderful. And then boom, life happened. And it didn't end up happening,
Boom,
And-
life happened. Yeah.
Or
I mean, been there.
for forever, I know both of us were going, this would make an awesome HBO miniseries. It just be so crazy. And
Fuck,
it
fuck
never.
HBO. It's on Netflix now. So no.
That's fine. I don't care. Pay me the money. Show me the money. And so I was like, well, yeah, cool. And boom, Dan drops 5 issues of script on me. And I had a couple of suggestions. I wanted to take a little longer for her to go, holy crap, maybe I need to be on this truck. But other than that, the 96% of this is what Dan wrote. The only thing I kind of tend to do is I go, hey, what about this? What about this? What about, if you could see the emails, they're straight up stream of consciousness. Because my ADHD brain goes in 10 directions. And poor Dan has to sift through all that shit. And some stuff is fun and interesting. And he goes, hey, we'll use that. We'll use this. And that's kind of how this works. But he brought this whole very literary kind of vibe to it. And,
I'll let you in on a secret, Karl, like in front of all these people now. Now with the advent of artificial intelligence, I just take your emails and I feed them into like a large language model. And then I just have them tell me like, what does Karl really want to do here? So I let it interpret.
That's it. Yeah.
So Karl's having a conversation with Chat GPT. Got it. Yeah. That's pretty much
I'm waiting for it to tell me to kill myself. So there you go.
No. It just wants you maimed, not killed. If you're dead, you can't suffer anymore. This is what the robots want us to linger, and they want us to hurt. So
overlord.
You're so damn cheerful. You're just so damn cheerful.
Hey, I am a glass half full, and I see it how it is. So outside, is this your first?
Half full of earth. Sorry.
Is this your first jump into like a self-published book, or have you done a book prior to this?
Yeah. It's definitely an existential crisis of anxiousness and wanting to burn all the spammers to the ground. I was saying to Karl the other day, I was not anticipating the number of badly worded spam things telling me yours beyond all others is most inspired project I have ever seen on any crowdfunding platforms. Perhaps you would discuss with us chances to guarantee backers.
Wow.
That's
what?
That's probably the better worded one. I've been obviously looking at it for a long time as we started to talk about what to do with this. Do we go to a publisher? Do we try to do it on our own? Did a fair amount of research, talked to a lot of people who've done yourself included. Thank you for the advice, but lots of folks who've done successful campaigns. What would you do? Where would you go? Can you look at this and evaluate it? And of course, no two are the same exactly, but I feel like we got a fair shake in terms of input. And now we're learning as we're going.
It is a daunting task. Kickstarter is, and doing self-publishing. Anytime I can help, sure. I don't envy what you got going on because, man, it is hard, but yeah. Danny said, sorry for that email. I don't type so good. So, I have a question, and this is not sarcastic or ironic. I apologize for my tone because it's just my tone. But you worked for My Hero Jim Shooter, is that correct? Like you were his assistant?
I did. I was the assistant to Jim Shooter. So yes,
okay.
and then yes.
Okay, so when was that? Like what? Were you there for Secret Wars, or were you there for Valiant? Or what?
Started around then. So I came into Marvel in I want to say the spring of '84 or something like that, because I was still in school. I was still in spring of '84 because I was still at New York University. I had run out through all my parents' money on student films. And then the advertisement on the school job board, right, was typist at Marvel Comics. So I typed really fast. Exactly. Yeah. And I said, Marvel Comics, I remember those from when I was a kid. although I mostly read DC's because that was the initial. And went there. They just handed that particular job over, but the people who I talked to said, "You seem like you got your head on straight." Little did they know, and they sent me down to Lynn Cohen, who was Jim's assistant. And so I took that job while I was still at school. Like that was the caveat I had to give them. Like I'm still taking classes. I can do this part time. But I sat right outside of Jim Shooter's office and interacted with him in a very frightened, like, holy shit, you're Jim Shooter sort of way, but also, just overhearing him. I had a ball like listening to him talk and pontificate. But this was right around Secret Wars time. There's definitely Secret Wars money flowing in.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. Did he give you your job on Daredevil then, or like how did
No.
you no?
No. He had
Was he gone by then?
No, I won the job on Daredevil. I mean,
Well, I didn't mean to imply that he just gave it.
No,
to you.
I know, he wasn't in charge of Daredevil. Ralph Macchio was the editor on that.
Oh, okay.
The way, but I mean, but Jim always treated me well. I mean, I always kind of enjoyed, like I said, listening to him talk about comics and give people direction. Other people had a more confrontational experience with him because they worked with him in a different way. So I don't invalidate that experience, but I didn't have that. And when I was in Epic, I had the buffer of Archie Goodwin, who was my boss directly at Epic. And I think that Archie and Jim had a different relationship. So we weren't necessarily impacted quite so much by any of issues that might have been going on or were going on. So at one point, Jim was going to give me a job as a kind of movie liaison when Marvel had been bought out by a movie studio, and I'd labored pretty heavily with him to be that person. And then he was like, "All right, you convinced me," and then he got fired.
Yeah.
So much for that idea.
Yeah.
And then so I was back to the just the editorial pool. But no, Daredevil would come a couple years later.
Gotcha. And I'm going to ask one more question about the Jim Shooter thing. So when he did Defiant, so you wrote Charlemagne for that.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Yeah. I still have all my Defiant books. I'm probably one of the three people who bought. I mean, unfortunately, I love it, but I'm being honest, it wasn't. I mean, that's why I wasn't there. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. But So anyway, so the Charlemagne book, like, did Jim, like, how'd that come about? Like, was that your idea?
He did approach me on that one. I mean, he did specifically call me on that, himself, like Jim Shooter himself, which I was really flattered by, and I was really grateful for the chance to work with him, because I did and do have a lot of respect for his, creative skills and his skills as a publisher and what he had done, and so and I thought Charlemagne was an intriguing, concept and a fun, he had worked it out as he normally did with a lot of detail. And so I started off having a ball with it, and Adam Polina, who was the artist, was fun to work with. He was a little, I think, raw at that point. But we had a good rapport and a good back and forth. And remember, we did a couple of signings together when they were promoting the early book, and it was a lot of fun. It was one of those weird, somebody was just asking me about this the other day, so it must be Charlemagne month, but it was one of those things that it didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth, but it sort of had this very awkward ending to it, because I can't remember, I think I did the first 3 and maybe 4 issues, but it was going along, and then there was a question, which I can't remember what it was, that I had on that particular issue. Something about a direction they wanted to go, or about getting something fixed or redrawn, which in my mind was just a very typical sort of conversation you'd have with an editor. So it wasn't with Jim directly, it was whoever was editing the book. And they just like, whatever they took from what I said, they were like, "You're off the book, done." Phone hung up, you're done. And was just like, and it was just super abrupt. Like I don't know I can't remember the specifics of it, but it was the kind of thing of like, equivalent of like, could you pass the salt, and somebody throws kerosene on you and lights a match. And but we thought you liked it spicy. So it's the as a book and as an experience, it kind of doesn't take away from enjoying working with Jim and enjoying working on the title, but it definitely was like, oh, that could have ended better.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to. Hopefully, I didn't bring up too much of a.
No.
It's
It's
okay.
like long. I got worse examples than that. It was just like one of those really, like I said, awkward. That's strange.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tags. Traumatize yourself for our.
Yeah, exactly. It's creative work, right? It's like you're gonna run into the most awesome people on the planet, and then you're gonna run into like, what just happened? So,
Well,
I feel like can I ask whether this is an actual trend or just what I'm thinking? But I feel like over time, the total number of aspects, like culture is shifting to. We have lots of brilliant art jerks, maybe higher than brilliant people aren't now.
that would be wonderful. I also wonder if it's like the longer you do something, and I'll speak for myself only since I can see myself on screen. I think, approaching a certain stage of life, you also appreciate the good people more, and you tolerate the others less, and you just cycle them out of your sphere of influence, and you realize, I want to focus on these people who are invariably many, many brilliant, fun people and creative people that are enjoyable to be with, and just like, don't let the others in as you might have at one point or another.
well, Dan, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us tonight. I mean,
Guys, thank you. Yeah.
I am a
Thank
huge
you.
fan of of your books. Again, that's why I knew some of the deep cuts. But but before we let you go, let's remind everybody again. The Kickstarter that you have going on is for Axel's Infernal, and
Yes, it is.
yeah, you want to give again just like a quick little pitch, how much time we've got left on it, what we can, where people can find it.
Absolutely. Supernatural thrill ride, grindhouse feel, demons and truckers and attractive, morally compromised, women with a soul of redemption, right down the center of it. It is got about 2 weeks to go. It can be found at bit.ly/Axel's Infernal. Tons of great rewards, bang up storyline and artwork. So I hope folks will check it out. And if it's not for you right away, let it seep in a little bit. It will get into your soul. And also share it out, to other folks to try to basically seduce them into the inner circle as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, again, yeah, thank you very much. And again, we will have the link in the chat here in a moment, and we will put the link attached to the video for anybody doing a review. Again, Dan, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. And I'm going to go and just feel very little after, again, watching all this amazing talent going on here. So keep having fun. Have a great evening.
Take care.
Take care.
Cheers.
See you, Dan.
Bye-bye.
I hope I didn't jump in too often.
No, that's fine. I mean, yeah.
Hey,
No,
take care.
I mean, I appreciate you jumping in. I just, didn't know Karl knew anybody else that was cool besides me. I mean, so.
Yeah, these are my two brushes with greatness there, Stephen.
Dan was a delight. So, yeah. So, again, yeah, everybody, back up a great comic book. Get your chance to do that. So, speaking of Kickstarter campaigns, Mike, how's Dodge doing?
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, so it's being colored right now. We've had some delays with the coloring due to different reasons. But yeah, it's, some of the usual delays. I've been negligent in getting back to everyone about the actual reward surveys and things like that. I have artwork I've got to do for people. Some people I know in the real world, so they've reached out to me with their requests already. But yeah, I have about 15 more paintings to do, plus a couple of really big ones. Were art rewards for the book. but yeah, as far as I know, things are ticking along. The books, I mean, at this point, I would say we're about a month behind where we thought we would be in terms of the production. But you know, people get sick and there's delays and stuff happens. But yeah, it's coming along. I'm excited about it, and yeah, it's gonna be a really weird thing when it's all over and it's all said and done, and then we move on to the next chapter, which you know, figure out what that is. Um, but yeah, hopefully the Kickstarter will be fulfilled by the end of November, which would put us about a month behind. Last time we did one, we had a few pieces that ended up not getting out there until December, just because shit happens, you know. But yeah. So,
So-
you know, fingers crossed that everything's going to go well.
And I'm in it. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, and Carl's in it, and Brandon's actually in it. Brandon has a pinup in it, and which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And yeah, it's gonna be a crazy thing to see all 4 issues out. I can't wait. I haven't had. That's been the most frustrating part about all this is crowdfunding each book. You know, we end up holding on to our stock so that we can, you know, have leftover back issues for the next round. Because we're, you know, we're only printing so much. There's only so much room to store stuff, and you know, only so much money to print stuff. So all year, all the last couple of years, I've been doing touring of Comic Cons and things like that. I really haven't had a lot of copies of books to sell, to have available at shows. So I'm hoping that when the Kickstarter is all done, and fulfilled, we'll have lots left over that we can tour with and actually go and show up in your town, show up at your local comic store, show up in your local comic con, and you know, and then be there and let people who weren't able to support the Kickstarter for whatever reason get a chance to have the book. You know, I think yeah, that's the plan anyway. Hopefully.
Mike, do you ever do conventions in the Midwest?
It's been a while. Haven't done I haven't done Chicago in a while. Missed that show.
But you do have an event coming up in Colorado, right?
I do have an event coming up in Colorado. I'm very excited about that. Colorado Springs, Iron Lion, which is just an awesome comic store. I ended up doing a variant for their first ever exclusive for Little Bird.
Is this okay? It's the same. I was going to ask that. Was it the same store? Yeah.
And they're really cool. They are just an awesome young couple that run the shop, and they built quite an awesome you know, staff and crew of people. Now they've got a couple of young kids, and they've really built something awesome out there. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and November 25th. It's actually, I guess, the Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm curious to see how fun it's going to be to travel from Canada that weekend. But it should be okay. Yeah, I got a hotel right across the street from the store, and it should be pretty cool. We're gonna do probably a couple days of signing and some sketching and stuff like that. But yeah, The Deviant is the name of the comic.
Thank you. I was just about to ask.
Yeah, James Tinney in the Fourth. It's his new series about it's kind of got a Christmas murder vibe kind of thing to it, but all of this stuff is good. That writer, the artwork is incredible, and yeah, it's just kind of like a Santa Claus murderer type character with a cool mask, and yeah, this is really fun. I enjoyed doing the cover for Iron Lion because I love the people and I love the store, but I also really wanted to incorporate their branding into the cover, and that's something I'd love to do with like all the different retailers I work with. I'd love to, you know, really create something that's like uniquely tied to that store, because I really do feel like, you know, the store should be the star of these covers sometimes to a degree, and I feel like they should take part in the creation of the artwork. and should, have there's opportunities. Stores always have cool names. They always got cool, like, awesome sounding names, comic stores, and I think there's a lot to play with there. That could become, unique artwork for, unique, exclusively available covers.
We have
So-
a news store that just opened up right by my work office.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we got issues. So I was like,
Nice.
yeah, I was like, I
That's
can
good.
appreciate that.
That's great. Yeah. That's a really good one.
That is fantastic.
Mhm.
My local shop here in Oakville, it's called Enter the Battlefield, and
Ooh.
like I'm hitting them with constant barrage of telepathic commands to hire me to do, a Conan cover or something. Do like a cool exclusive. They've never done an exclusive before, and I've been trying to push them on the idea. And I feel like with something like Enter the Battlefield, you could create a whole thematic, humongous body of work with that theme in mind.
Might
With
I make a suggestion for
any
you?
title? Sorry?
Might I make a suggestion for you?
Yeah.
Walk in there, show them the stuff you did for like Pestilence.
Oh, this is what I mean. Yeah, like they're mostly a gaming store. Like they're right into like Magic the Gathering and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's a lot of crossover there. And I mean, shit, I'd love to work for Magic the Gathering. I'd love to do some of that card art. That'd be awesome. But they can make all kinds of custom things for Magic too. Like they have exclusives that stores can do as well for different things. And I don't know. I just feel like there's so much opportunity with something called Enter the Battlefield. My God, you could have so much fun with that.
Well, as I was saying, show them what you've done. You just like kind of go,
Yeah.
hey, I had a couple of these extra comps sitting around. I thought you guys might like
Yeah.
them, and just kind of hand them off to them, and plant the seed. Yeah.
Imagine your logo was right there.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be that direct to start. Just kind of do the subtlety of, hey, I got a couple extra. I know you're new. I thought you guys could use this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll start thinking about, oh, this is kind of cool, and then they want to do their own, and then of course they're going to go to the guy who brought in comics to them.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. See what happens. I've been trying to get anyone at Titan Comics to get back to me about Conan, and I can't get anyone to get back to me, and it's frustrating me. I even have Erica supporting me, like, yeah, if you want to do a cover for Savage Sword and it's something that we can actually, not lose our house over, that would be cool. Maybe we should try it. And it's just
I'll-
like I can't get it.
I'll invest in that if you get it.
What's that?
I said I'll invest in that if you can get them to reach out to
Yeah,
you.
man. Well, shit, that'd be awesome. I can get a bunch of people investing in it. It'd be a lot easier. And I don't know. I just feel like getting a chance to do something like a Savage Sword of Conan, my own cover, would be a product that I could, would be a thing that I could have on my desk forever. I had to like print 1,000 of them or something, more or whatever. Hopefully, it wouldn't be that many, but if you had to,
And hopefully you won't have on your desk forever. That's the point.
Well, that's it. Yeah, but just having a couple hundred on hand, like.
Oh yeah, that'd be you'd be able to move that at a convention, no problem.
Oh yeah, wherever I go, I'd be able to have something like that. Like I'm all out of my Swamp Thing books. Like everyone out there who got a Swamp Thing book, like congrats, because I don't have any left.
Oh no, really? Oh wow.
But I know.
I think they're so damn good, man.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you. I know Justin probably has a whole bunch still, but I don't have any physical copies here in the studio anymore. So it's always kind of sad when they run out. Like I don't have any Usagi's anymore either. My Usagi covers are all gone.
Oh no.
And they were a short run too. Like that was a fairly short run. I don't know how many we printed of those, but
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't think I got that one. That sucks. I mean,
Oh, that's
happy that it did well, but yeah. So
yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make a dumb joke.
Besides, if you did a Savage Sword of Conan cover, you would become my hero, because that's something I used to read. I used to walk down to a local bookstore and buy those all summer long.
Oh, me too, dude. Well, here's the thing: they're bringing back Savage Sword of Conan in 2024, and they're doing it the old magazine format style, black and white interiors,
Oh, really?
painted covers.
What?
And they always,
Short
remember they had those
stories.
cool,
Oh my god.
Multiple stories. So, like, I'm telling you, man, write
Oh,
your
wow.
Conan shit,
That's
draw
awesome.
your Conan shit, pitch it. I mean, there's gonna be a 10,000 trains trying to enter the same tunnel, trying to get stuff into Conan. Like that's the visual in my head anyway. Because I've been trying like a bastard to get anyone to just return a phone call, and I actually have a couple of ins there, and I still can't get anything to move. And yeah, it's frustrating, man. But yeah, I would love to do, especially with Savage Sword coming back. Like, how awesome would it be to knock out like a 8 or 10 page Conan story, man, and have it show up in Savage Sword? Like, that would just be a trip. That would just be the coolest shit ever. You know?
remember all those Bob Larkin covers, Earl
Oh my
Norm
god,
covers?
Earl Norm covers, like,
Damn.
God.
All right, we're
Too
going back
good.
a bit far because we're old.
Even the early Boris Vallejo covers, back when Boris was
Yeah.
really good, like back when before he kind of became like, you know, so kind of homogenized in his style. His early stuff was actually kind of interesting, and he did he did the first issue of Savage Sword. He did the cover for the first issue, and
His stuff was a lot more painterly too.
It's way more painterly. Yeah, it's like a dude who's learning how to paint, and you can actually see him learning. And then once he developed that kind of photorealistic, like polished style, that was it. Like that was what made his money. But my God, that early stuff had a raw honesty to it that I loved. You know.
Yeah, unfortunately, from what I've heard, he painted all that stuff on illustration board.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that long term, that shit doesn't hold up that well.
No. I know we did a lot of things on Masonite too.
Yeah.
Which might hold up a little better, but yeah.
I remember reading that Rowena Morel had done a lot of her work on illustration board. I was like, oh no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Who I always thought, I don't know, in a way, if you're going for that really highly polished thing, I actually kind of liked her shit a little better than board.
I remember thinking it was so crazy when they were tearing apart Saddam Hussein's mansion and they were pulling out all those Rowena paintings that he owned. Because he owned originals. He owned the originals. They're in the beautiful gilded frames, and there's these army guys just taking stacks of fucking Savage Sword of Conan covers out of the guy's house. Like,
hey, one second, Mike. Sorry to interrupt you. Casey, can you check the cable off of your camera? You are.
Oh God, bless America. Okay.
You just become Max Headroom. Yeah. Well, that's funny you're talking about Saddam Hussein and had all her art and everything. Because I recently discovered that he was a wannabe erotic fiction writer.
oh no!
Oh yes! Oh yes! You've got to get. We may have to take a night and just do a dramatic reading of his books.
What the fuck?
They are amazing. That's all. I mean, just so
Books? Plural?
so like amazing, like Velocipaster amazing, like just
Oh my God!
Oh man!
yeah, absolute train wreck, but it's so good.
Yeah, nobody's going to tell him he can't write.
It is exactly it. Oh, Casey, are you still with us? We lost your video feed completely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this isn't about to run me again. So I will be listening, but I'm going to be invisible for a minute.
Okay, fair enough. So, but yeah, I was listening to a podcast called Behind the Bastards, and it was about
Love that show.
Yeah, so good. And the one about Saddam Hussein, he just focused like a good half an hour on all the erotic fiction that Saddam Hussein wrote, and it is just unbelievably unhinged. It's so good. Huh?
Oh, I'm just asking. Eric is a huge fan of the show as well, and I was just asking if she'd heard that episode yet.
Ask him if he's watched or listened to the Sex Lives of Hitler one yet.
Oh, have you? She's asking if you've listened to the Sex Lives of Hitler yet.
I'm gonna say yes. Because I started from the beginning. So I started with the 2017 episodes, and I've heard a couple of the Hitler episodes, and there was one that was, heavily into his, sex life, and I'm not sure if it was it wasn't a complete focus on it, but it was a good segment of it. So, but yes, it was
His 6-part crazy Vince McMahon thing is nuts too.
Oh yeah,
There's unbelievable stuff in that
Hey,
as well.
I'm going to point out that we've taken an amazingly dark turn here.
Yeah.
but yet you will laugh very hard if you listen to these podcasts.
Okay, this always happens, isn't it? The case. We start off super light and cheery, and by the end, we're all sort of apologizing to each other.
Right.
Oh, I make no apologies for introducing people to Behind the Bastards. So,
oh no, that's
I have no stock in it, but if I could, I would. Did you, Mike and Erica? When you guys started, did you start from the beginning, or you just kind of picked it up when it was?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I jumped all over the place. I've been listening to it for years, but I kind of started from the beginning, and then I just got into whatever looked good and juicy, and would just jump through it that way. So
he also did that one. It Could Happen Here. That's a great podcast as well. And there was that one. I loved his fiction one that
After the Revolution.
After the Revolution.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was awesome! I fucking loved every episode of that, man. I wanted to I could see it in my head like a graphic novel. I heard he was actually making a graphic novel of it, or I know he had illustrations done for the jacket of the ebook or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really, really cool writer, really cool stuff.
Yeah, because he used to be with Cracked. That's where I used to follow him back in the way. He was one of the. But the reason I was asking, when you picked it up, were you around there for when he was trying real hard to get the Doritos sponsorship?
Oh yeah,
that was one of my favorite running jokes, and I'm so disappointed that they. I get they finally stopped it, but I'm like, oh man, they should have just kept going forever.
It went on forever. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it just into constant jokes about getting a Raytheon sponsorship or something, or you're pay attention to these next messages from our sponsors, Raytheon.
Yeah. If you need somebody bummed, and you're Raytheon, the best and affordable. Yeah.
When it absolutely positively has to be blown up overnight.
Yeah.
Hey, Casey, your camera is tweaking again.
oh
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
gentlemen, sorry.
You want to jump out and jump back in?
How dare you?
Frankly, I'm just a problem, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
That's it. Well, your internet's too close to Canada, and you're probably bleeding out of the Canada internet right now. And we know how piss poor Canadian internet is.
It's just one hamster, guys. It's just one hamster. It can only do so much.
Wow. Murray's trying to sign in Saskatchewan right now, and that's what's causing the problem. You guys are on the same bandwidth.
Oh, did we lose Brandon?
No, Brendan's still here.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His feed in the room is choppy, but his feed coming in is fine. Yeah, it's wild. And I was getting Casey, even though she wasn't showing up in the room, but her feed was still showing up, but then it just went all max headroom. So.
Yeah, and now I am merely a voice.
Yes.
Because I don't think I can get it to stop doing that without stopping working. And
Fair enough.
Your call. You're the guy running the show.
Oh, hey, we can hear you. That's fine, and we'll show your art off when it's done. So
that works.
All good. You can still participate in the audio form. This is fitting. We were talking about podcasts, and you went to podcast mode. That's all.
Hey, what? I'm nothing if not topical.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, this is at the ugly stage anyway, so nobody's missing very much right now.
I have no comment. Not sure what.
Okay, so your sketch looks great, right? And you love the sketch, and then you start going with the line.
Oh no,
that's all right.
I get the metaphor you're going with. I just have no follow up for it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Taking improv stuff. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, don't make me yes and everything you say from now on. That's it. Everything you say, I'm gonna go yes and I'm gonna yes and. What about?
So, Stefan, we're going to work on a comic book together, yeah?
That's the theory.
I thought you were going to yes and.
Oh, sorry. You actually threw a real question at me, and damn it.
Well,
I thought you were
was
throwing a real question.
like, I was going to get you like in front of witnesses. Like,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not on. I'm not on my game tonight.
it's my fault for expecting coherent and witty stuff. I'm sorry.
I can only bring so much to this, and I've decided that and whatever I can bring, I'm only going to bring about 35%. I need to save some of my energy for later. Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking highlights killing me. There we go. Okay.
So Casey, what media are you using right now? Draw us a picture with your. Mm-hmm.
All right. So with oil pastel, the way I like to work with it is I start by putting down a layer and I rub it into, and then I go in with a short list of basic colors to flatten out the tone, right? Because everything on the bottom is chaos, and everything in the middle is super sensible. And then once I've got all of that blended out, I go back in again with the strongest of natural colors to make it all really pop again. And then I go in with like a pin or a scraper and I mark the shit out of it. And then once I've got it all textured up, I go back in one last time with oil-based pencils to pick out any fine.
I'm just going to say it. I didn't think there could be an art podcast, but you could have an art podcast. You just described perfectly. Yeah. Didn't even need to see it. Well done.
Well, happy to.
Thank you.
Very, very happy to. I don't know. It's kind of a satisfying process too. It's a little meditative because you're mixing everything on the page and you're kind of mushing the papers together, the colors together.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with watercolor, or Mike, what you were saying earlier, when you're using a supply that's not strictly intended for art, but has like natural variance in it,
Yeah.
you have to accept a certain loss of control, but then you also get to regain a certain play that you don't necessarily have when you're able to.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. That's part of the reason I do it. I like, everything's always so controlled all the time. So it's nice to take some of that control away and just have to accept the marks that are made. You just have to accept them, just like we have to accept the bullshit that happens to us in life. You just have to accept it and move on sometimes. And I feel like this is a good way to, a good reminder of that, I mean, that's why Swamp Thing's a great subject for it. Yeah, and that's why Swamp Thing's a good subject for it, because there's not really any mistakes to be made. If your anatomy is a little bit off, or if something's a little bit off, it's like whatever. There's no rules with this character. You have some freedom to fuck it up, and that's what we all need. Everybody is freedom to fuck it up sometimes.
So that thumping noise we're hearing, are you dipping something in ink, or what are you doing there? Because it's not matching up like with your stippling there.
Yeah, so I'm using. Oh yeah, so I think I've got a little bit of a lag going on. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But I've got a little bit of a acrylic gouache here that I've mixed up some yellow and some blue to make a green, and I've used a kind of a darkish paper as it is, a darkish green paper. So I did my inking first, and I thought I would go in with pencil crayon, but I wanted to keep this all found objects. So nice. I continuing to use this dead flowers center. I'm using as now just a way of adding some acrylic highlights here with the acrylic gouache. I don't need to do very much on this. I think I'm just going to add a few touches here and there.
Yeah, I don't think you're lagging, by the way. It's just you were off camera when you were when you were dipping into the.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
that's why it was throwing me off. I wasn't sure, but now watching you do it, okay. Yeah. No, don't apologize. Jeez, I was just It now makes sense.
I'm looking at a different screen than you are because I'm seeing our Oh
yeah, the chat room
thing, but yeah.
So, Brandon, I'm going to jump over Brandon real quick here. Are you going to, once you're done cutting up your cover, are you going to be coloring that in, or is it going to stay white like that? What's the plan here? I mean, it's looking awesome. I'm just trying to figure out.
Oh yeah, no. Once this is fully once this is fully sliced up, which I'm nearing the end now, I'm going to tape the edges here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to give it a bit of a border, and then I'm going to go over all of this with India ink. So it's going to be sharp black, and then I've got some of the details here that are all taped up, so you can't see it. You might be able to see it, some of it like right here and here. It's like the names. So once that's all set, I'm going to peel that off, so that'll still be visible, and then I'm going to put Bailanchi, the character's name. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to do it in decorative font.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it's going to look. It's still technically in that interim stage at the moment.
Oh no,
yes. But
no, I was just curious if it was going to be colored
Sorry,
on top. I was just being curious if it was going to be like any type of color on top of the white, or just the white. Either way, it's looking awesome. I wouldn't, don't downplay it.
You.
You're doing great. My questions come from a space of ignorance, not any type of critique or anything. So.
No, it's all good.
I can't hear anything Brandon's saying. Just I didn't hear any of that for whatever reason.
Which is wild because he was talking mad shit about you, but
yeah, no doubt.
Hey, fuck you, Mike.
It's the Chris Vance thing all over again.
It's wild, and you're not getting video from KC. I'm getting audio from Brandon, and it's coming through. So it's just wild.
I'm sorry. I guess whatever I've got is pages.
Yes, you gave us all a video virus.
Yes. Well, when you get home and like a creepy little girl crawls out of your laptop, just tell her hi and tell her that she's out too late.
Well, I'm hoping she comes out of the laptop. That way I can slam the lid down on her, because she comes out of like regular
gentle.
TV.
She is so young.
No, I don't care how young you are. You invade my space. It's fair game. I'm slamming, and it's a heavy laptop too. I mean, it's like a big ass Dell, so it's gonna hurt. I could put that laptop out in a hurricane, and it's not going anywhere.
I'll just sit here and quietly judge.
Oh, that's fine. You can vocally judge me too, because my lack of caring will protect me. I have that and plot armor, so I am good. I can't be shamed. Karl, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Did everybody hear Karl?
I'm sitting here thinking, because I don't want to ink myself into a corner that I have to fix. So, as is usual, I am doing everything right by the seat of my pants. So, if I'm getting quiet and there's no activity on screen,
Well, some of the best art happens that way.
Yeah, but if you see no movement out of me, it's because the gears are working, and I'm going, okay, how do I fix that? Shit.
No, I just wanted to make sure that your audio is coming through too, because we were having some audio and video issues with some of the other feeds. And you were quiet for quite some time, so I wasn't sure.
Well, I also had to dart out of the room and get a pen. So that.
And yet you're using a brush. You're a complicated man.
Yeah, well, when I got to do these stupid straight lines. So
yeah, brushes and rulers are not friends.
Although, I think I mentioned this before. The old timers like Russ Heath and shit, they would draft the damn German Panzer tank using the ruler and a brush and just holding the stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. I've seen videos of it, and I can't parse in my head how it works. Like, I've sat next to brush inkers at conventions and been like, I'm going to commission you. How much extra to just sit here and watch you do it? And I cannot fucking figure it out. There's so much careful, like, minuscule muscle control. Like, what kind of gym routine do I need for that?
I think the main thing that happened, I think what happened with that was probably was an outgrowth of every time you change a tool while you're inking, you're slowing down. And they probably just went, screw this, grabbed a ruler and started doing it. When you know what, I can keep working on that.
Yeah.
So I have a possible dumb question. So
Sure.
I've worked myself into a corner at work where, whenever the card comes around for people to sign, I've stopped signing it and I just started drawing in it. But I've noticed what's happening, like, because there's certain things I can draw. Like I can draw a Bill the Cat, I can draw a Care Bear, simple things like that. But I've started noticing, like, when I start drawing, I'm getting too tense and then my hand starts shaking.
Oh,
Like when I get to like that, like 90% done, and then all of a sudden, man, my hand will just shake, like almost like there's Parkinson's there, that type of shake, like that's just uncontrollable. I can't have to grab my hand and stop it. Have you guys ever had that? Or, I mean, do I need to get checked out? Or do I, is this something, this is at work. I will state again, at work, or I won't be able to. But, like, do you tense up so much where you start shaking?
I'm doing that right now.
Inking for me it's a breathing thing sometimes. Like if I'm doing a lot of long controlled lines or controlled shapes or something that's really a challenge, there's a whole breathing thing. Like Erica, if she's sitting in the room with me, she'll hear me inking, and then every so often there'll be this big long like gasp of air that's released because I've been holding my breath a certain way, or I've been like breathing a certain way. Because when you breathe, your lungs, expand your rib cage a bit. There's a little bit of movement that can happen, and so there's a lot of really careful breathing going on sometimes with inking. And it's funny because it's like almost like you just learn how to go for a length of time without breathing, and then you're kind of parsing this one breath over the course of a length of time. Yeah,
I find that happening when I go back to a tool I haven't used in a while, and the muscles that support that posture have got
yeah.
because then I wind up holding myself extra tense. Like I'm unconsciously or unconsciously clenching as hard as I can because the control is there in my head, but not in my hand. So that could be part of it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can death grip things too, pretty hard to the point where you get like a shake in the hand. Like,
well, that is one thing I noticed that I'm like white knuckling it when I notice it's starting to happen. I'm like, okay, I'm grabbing way too hard here, but just
yeah.
Stefan, you might try doing time like interruption to the work so that you can stretch out your like wrist and your hand, like just loosen them up, like physically push your fingers back, shake them out, circles with your wrists, do circles with your thumbs, relax your arms and then go back in. That might resolve it too.
Okay. Cool. So I'll breathe and stretch. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
because I mean, in the end, you are still made of meat.
Oh, that's what you think, but bleep, blap, blurp. So I'm not going to try to say Maria's last name because I'm sure I'm going to butcher it, but she jumped in and said, I've been checking it out once in a while because I'm at work right now, but everyone's piece is looking awesome. It's Maria Chantel. Then
it's my fiance. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can tell me how to pronounce her last name then.
That's
the girl, North American pronunciation of it is just it's pronounced as it's spelled, so Larock.
Okay.
But the way she pronounces it with the accents. I'm not even going to try to attempt that. She knows how to do it. Erica might be able to say it correctly.
Gotcha. See, I was going to put the because I had to put the Spanish, even though it looks French, I was going to have to put the Spanish with the K on there at the end. So that's what I'm gonna butcher this so hard, I'm not even going to try. So. French. So welcome and thank you. Yes, everyone's piece is looking very nice. So, and again, for people watching and watching us on the replay, these pieces will be auctioned up on the artists' web pages. We will put links from the Things Are Getting Sketchy group page and page itself to all the links. But yeah, so you can bid on these pieces on individual artists' pages. Wow, that turned out to be a lot harder to say than I thought it would be.
6:30, folks. I will be right back. I have to go get some tape out of my kill kit.
Tape out the kill kit. Is that a common art phrase? Kill kit.
Kill kit.
If not, I'm going to ask him what that kill kit is because I'm liking that name.
Don't make him say anything that you'd have to like. You'd have to come up with an alibi for. Yeah, I'm sorry, brain lock.
Plausible deniability.
Oh no!
Exactly.
I'll let you all know right now. I'm down for the alibi for anybody who's part of this group. Yeah, you can always count on me. You can always count on me to be an alibi. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are my alibi.
I'll stare right at the popo and tell a lie. I got no problem with that.
Did you guys hear about that YouTuber in England? He did like toys and murdered his girlfriend and uploaded a stream that he ended live and tried to make that his alibi. It took them months before they caught on, but they got him.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, I was about to say it's kind of an amateur move because I can't tell you how many times I've attended conferences with a looped video that I've made, prior to it. And then I just feed it through OBS. So, and then I edit it really quick so it's seamless. So that way it just plays and it's like 20 minutes of me just sitting there looking, kind of nodding occasionally. I'll look down like I'm writing something down. Yeah. I've attended.
And while that's happening, you were like lowering yourself into the bank vault on that block and tackle kind of thing.
So right now, everybody just know that Karl should never be your alibi. I mean, he's just gonna fucking dump out this purse right there on the table. Jesus, Karl, come on, man, show some.
Sorry, because I know on the side you do that Ocean's 11 thing. So.
Danny's asking Karl, are you actually going to auction off your piece? And if so,
yeah, I guess Linda can put it up on the sketchy page for me.
All right, I would say, or you put it on your IG. I would put it on your IG page too. Get some of your followers there. Yeah. I will say, follow Mike's lead. Mike has it locked down on how to do it. Between Facebook and IG.
Yeah, doing both. I weirdly always get kind of bids from both. I tend to get more from Facebook, but I'll have people bidding against Facebook people on IG, and there's like little feuds and rivalries that have been born out of it. It's interesting.
I gotta tell you, I'm one of those. Like, I don't mind losing somebody on Facebook. When I lose somebody on IG, I don't know why. It kind of gets under my skin. I'm like, oh motherfucker, yeah, you came in, slid that last minute.
I get it, man. It's tricky for me too, managing the auction on two apps. Like, cause I want to get. Sometimes it comes down to the wire, like timing wise, and it's tricky to man both at the same time.
Didn't Facebook buy Instagram or something?
Yeah, but they don't cross-platform on. Like, if you're a business, you can cross them together. Like, so for tags, I get all the messages on Instagram the same way I get all the messages on Facebook. But if you're
right,
but if it's a personal account, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I would suggest is you make your art page a business on Facebook.
Okay.
So don't make it your personal page. Make it your, the art of, or, Casey's art, or whatever you call it. Turn it into
That's usually.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. But for some reason, things are getting sketchy. Won't let me post unless I'm not as my art page.
Really?
So I think you've only seen me post from my primary page, from my personal page.
Yeah. I'll have to look at that because Steve posts, and he posts from the art of Steve King.
I couldn't tell you. I may have tricked you somehow into thinking I was competent with that kind of shit. I am not.
Me neither.
I'll look into it to see if there's anything that's blocking it from happening, and I'll let you know. And if not,
Sure. I'm not too worried.
I know, but it's better to be able to do it that way because again, it's easier for you to manage, and it's it doesn't affect me at all. So, if I make it easier for you guys, that's fine for me. But yeah, like make your art pages a business so people follow, and then that way you can set up your IG the same way, and then you'll get all your messages in one spot, and make life a lot easier for doing options and stuff.
Where did that go?
Let my nerd side help you. Dude, and I cannot believe how well you're doing with that scalpel. That is some seriously tight cuts on the teeth and shit. That is crazy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it took me a while to get better at this because these kind of things usually take me. If I'd had nothing to work with, or if I was just trying to figure out how I was going to start cutting into this, it would take me a week or two. So I've gotten a lot faster as I've been testing out some of them. I've given some away as gift. Mike's got one, so and then I did a couple for some of Curry's coworkers and whatnot. So just to help give me practice, because every one that I do helps to get me faster. Plus, also builds my grip up because trying to some of these tighter cuts, especially where the teeth are, I have to keep it very steady. So I apologize to anyone who's watching if my arm is the majority of the feet on my side. It's just this way I can keep it flat so I don't accidentally rip the friggin' head off.
No, it looks great. Mike, did you guys do a sketch cover for Dodge 4?
Yes. Yeah.
So is it a sketch cover on top of the regular cover, or is it a sketch cover like its own cover?
It's on its own cover. The sketch covers on our Dodge books are on the black and white editions.
Okay.
So I always do a black and white version of Dodge that just shows the inks off and the lettering, and then usually has a blank cover.
Gotcha. Okay. So I was saying if it was the cardboard cover wrap around the regular cover, like the Green Arrow, is have Brendan do like the Wolverine, where he clawed through it.
Oh yeah, classic.
Oh, I could do that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I was say so we'd have to take one of your covers from the blank, remove the staples, put it back on the other cover, and then to double stack the two sketch covers. Then you can draw.
Yeah, that could be done.
Then you can draw Dodge raking the cover, and then do the die cut. And I'm going to commission this. It's in my head now, so I'm going to have to commission this. All right, we'll talk afterwards.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Now, regarding the paper cutting, I just have to ask, and I mean this in the best way possible, but I can't resist the urge to watch like 4 hours of that with white on and fall asleep and just forever. Best way is please tell me you have videos doing this quietly with like droning sound in the background, because I would give you so many hours of time.
It's funny. Marie mentioned that I should start filming this and just try it out and see if people would tune in. But this is actually the very first time I've ever done that. So you guys are getting the first watch of me slicing into one of these things.
Sure. What I'm saying is,
I don't.
Tag it for ASMR as well as art. Tag it for people who want to just watch a process to relax or to have some background. And you'll catch all of the normies who don't really follow art, but just want to settle into the process. I don't know why I called them normies. Sorry.
But yeah, and also just to quickly follow up, if you want to see him do that with just droning noise in the background, you currently had that, because I'm pretty sure all our conversations tonight were coming off as droning background noise.
Yeah, and I usually don't speak too much when I'm slicing this thing, because the last thing I want to do is get off centered and take one of my 10s. So for not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to keep them tips. Yeah.
But I can. That is something I have thought about. Thank you for that. I'll look more into that though. I'll see if it's something I want to pursue further on. Right at the moment, I just want to keep practicing. But thank you. I appreciate the
completely understandable. Hey, no, it's only a thought, not any kind of man. If I had the power to just command, like our lives would all be different.
Oh yeah, welcome to. I mean, every one of you should have your own. Every time you guys are at your table drawing, your camera should be on and pointed down. Like you're already there drawing. Just let the cameras run. You're already doing your work. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation, but please do this. This is only a benefit for you guys.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't do that all the time. The reason I stick to a day job is that I can they've permitted me to draw at my desk while I'm working.
Mhm.
But I feel like if I start, streaming while I'm literally at the day job, that's just begging for
No, yeah, you
major
can't do
prop.
it at the day job, but
Yeah,
and
so
you don't need to do it every time, but
that's
you
I'm
need to do it once a week.
Yeah.
Minimum. Just
once a week.
Once a week, because it's got to be
Stefan?
regular. Yeah.
I want you to remember. Think back on the times you've spent with. Think back on the times you spent. Okay, think
Mm-hmm.
of our interactions together, and I want you to ask yourself, how likely or simple would it be to stick to a regular weekly schedule?
I mean,
The only reason I am here on time is because there's people waiting for me.
everyone can do it.
Like,
You just block it, make the time. Tuesday night, you're gonna do it, or whatever night. That's all you need to do. And honestly, you don't even need to do it live stream if you're not going to talk to the people and answer questions or anything. Just record yourself doing it and then upload it.
Yeah, that's where that would come in handy.
That's clever.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
and then
You're starting to make some sense for me with that one.
yeah, you just need to make.
Because then I only have to worry about.
Good.
Go ahead.
No, you first.
No, I was going to say that way I wouldn't have to worry about getting interrupted or getting late or forgetting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing you need to do is make sure you post regularly. So if you're going to do it on Tuesday night, and Tuesday just on is arbitrary, every Tuesday night your new video has to show up. People can't be wondering what night of the week the new KC joint's going to drop. They got to know Tuesday night, 8:00 is when I'm going to get that. And then you can, and then you can, talk if you want, like if you're doing a process, like you were talking earlier when you were talking about how you're doing it, you can talk about it.
Sure.
Or you could just go straight, white noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or do two versions, just, do it where you're talking and then run it through a quick editor where you drop the audio out and throw in some royalty-free music or whatever.
You can always just drop a narration track on it afterwards.
You can do that as well. Yeah.
Don't make it sound so easy.
Yeah, but those of us that do this for the day job, that's why I was trying to make it easier, the first time out. But Karl is correct. You could watch your own video and drop your own narration later if you have the means to do it. Otherwise, if you're just going to talk from time, honestly, channel Bob Ross. That's the way to do it. You're just talking about what you're doing.
Got it.
And be as even keel through the whole way as possible. Like use a whisper voice, but not ASMR whisper. You're just being you're keeping your inflection almost at the same level the whole way through. So you're just like, so now we're going to take the reds and we're going to go in there, just and that way you're going to get the people who want to follow along and also the people that are ASMR.
Okay.
And somehow I just turned ASMR into a verb. I'm not sure. So next time they see me, you have the rights to punch me for that bullshit.
Well, I mean, I was going to punch you anyway.
Okay. Well, yeah. Now you have a reason, a second reason. But yes, I encourage all of you to do that. And if you have questions on how to do it, consider me a source. I will gladly walk you all through the process.
I really want to.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Really want to do it. Yeah.
Thank you, Stefan.
My neighbor at Granite, my next door neighbor at the Artist Alley, Amanda. I'm not sure if she pronounces it Dufresne or Dufresne, but she does awesome artwork. And she streams all the time, but she streams like on, I think she does Whatnot and Twitch, but she said that was the main thing is consistency. Like you have to, if you pick a time, like it's going to be Wednesdays at 8:00, then it's got to be Wednesdays at 8:00 every week, no matter what. And if you can't do it, then you got to have something else ready. You got to have a previous episode, something that you can just kind of fire in there as a placeholder with an apology until you get back next week. If there's whatever, you can't do it for whatever reason. Yeah. Because she said that was the main thing. And she's like, if you're not the kind of person to talk to to talk to people while you're drawing, then make sure that they understand that from the start. Like if you are a talker, then always be a talker. Like keep it consistent in that way too. And she's having great success with it, you know. So it's something I think about. I would love to have a regular thing. I just getting a day lockdown is the tricky thing.
Again, that's why I was saying it doesn't have to be live.
Yeah, I know,
Just-
true. Yeah,
You just record yourself doing it, and then because like I said,
I do like the interaction though.
oh, of course.
interaction
But then
great.
then you can turn it if you want the interaction. Then you turn it into a watch party,
Yeah, true.
and then
Yeah.
you're like, "Hey, everybody, here's the latest video. I'll be here, from 8 to 10 p.m. on Wednesday at the premiere. If you guys got any questions, and while it's coming up, then you're like,
Right.
you can just sit there and type away, going, "Hey, this is the paper I chose for tonight's drawing because XYZ. Here are the color
Yeah.
palettes I'm going to use."
Oh yeah,
So-
I can do that all day long.
That's what I'm saying,
Literally.
and
Yeah.
that's how you engage with the people live. If you can't do it, if you can't manage to keep talking the whole time you're drawing, you do it however you're going to do it. Cut whatever your audio is going to be for it, and then you join in as a watch party. And if you pre-record it, you have two different videos you can release. One with the background white noise ASMR style, and then the one where you're narrating. And now you're getting two for the price of one. Because you can release it twice if you want. You don't have to release those both at the same time. Yeah,
Right, I got
so that way you have your ASMR crowd coming on Thursday and your narrative crowd coming in on Tuesdays. Or again, arbitrary. Yeah.
That's really smart.
So I went ahead and posted a progress pic in the sketchy group. My camera is in function. I've got the first layer of visualization down. Looking dark compared to the first run, but it'll come back. Color always comes back.
I am going to download it and bring it in 1 second.
Just a snapshot.
Well, I know. But let me help you. This is what I do.
As Stephen goes all Jerry Maguire.
Been too long since I've seen the movie. I don't get the reference. Sorry.
Something sports, and then they fall in love. I don't know.
Him and Cuba? Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I miss Cuba. He was so good.
Yeah, Cuba was great, man. What happened to Cuba?
He did a
What's
fucking
Cuba?
he did a talking dog movie or something, and it just went downhill
Oh.
from there. Yeah.
It's over now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's also had some legal problems in his private life. So
Oh, did he? Oh, I see. I always thought it was the talking dog movie. My bad.
Everyone knows in Hollywood, deep down, it was the talking dog.
Yeah. They're like,
Made a
"Dude,"
proper story.
but we're gonna tell him it's legal problems to help you save face.
Yeah, the talking dog movie is never a good sign.
We gotta get our publicist on this right away and make up a crazy story about a drunken car wreck or something that'll be more juicy than, you did a dog movie, you did a dog voiceover movie or whatever. Like,
Yeah. Like, I mean, had he been a voice of a dog, totally fine. But no,
yeah.
there were talking dogs in the movie with him, and that's just
Oh,
unforgivable.
yeah, that's where it's over then. Poor Cuba.
I know. He's so good.
He poochied his career.
He poochied his career.
Oh, ouch. I mean, I love the fact you brought in a talking dog to make the reference. So beautiful. Well done.
What are you stamping that on with? Like, is that like the flower end of the?
It's the center, like the part where all the petals join and the stem joins. It's the
Oh my god!
yeah.
So real quick, boom. All right, everybody. This is the in progress photo in case you didn't see it on the tags group page. But now This is past the ugly teenager a bit. This looks good.
I have to check it out.
Yeah,
later.
we're now at like an awkward 20-year-old.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right. Fair. All right.
So you've reached my stage. Hell yeah.
Oh, wait, you're in your 20s? Fuck, I hate you now. I mean,
Go away.
fucking 20. Ow, that hurts so much. So before I forget, since we're in the last few minutes here, I totally forgot to mention that we are going to be launching, because everyone's doing their Kickstarters. We are going to be doing the final collection of Things Are Getting Sketchy. This is going to collect the best of issues 1, 2, 3. I shouldn't say the best. Just going to be picking out certain ones that I had fun with on those evenings. And that way there's going to be a lot of new art. So it's going to be some of the 1, 2, 3 and a bunch of new art from last seasons that didn't make it into the issue 3. And then the art from the first half of this season. So, and the cover was planned long before the passing of Keith Giffen, which is unfortunate, but it's the only time I've ever done an homage in my life. But with everyone involved did a drawing of themselves or another person, for those who can't draw, hands raised. So that's going to be the cover for the collected edition. It's going to be a hardcover and a soft cover. And right now it's looking to be about 180 pages. So it's going to be a big boy. So,
We're in
Yeah.
coffee table book territory.
yeah. You will be able to defend your house with this as both a shield and a weapon.
Grab it to my chest
Very
and use
cool.
it for a ballistic plate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
Steph, did I hear that correctly? There's going to be a soft and hardcover?
Yes. Yeah, there will be a soft hand.
Oh,
hardcover.
wow. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah, the thanks, Murray. Murray says the homage is beautiful. Yeah, I mean, everyone really went out of their way to do great pieces for this. So,
Are you showing it there, or?
It was on screen. I'll put it back on screen real quick.
Oh,
Sure.
it is.
It was.
I'm
but-
not able to see it anyway. So.
Oh, I thought you had your other computer on the side.
No,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So this isn't the final cover. We've got 2 more artists that are fixing their images because they didn't have their eyes looking in the right direction. But we'll get those corrected. And the laughter on screen should give you away of who one of those artists is.
Hey, at least I finished the piece.
Yeah, this is true. So we'll have that, and that will be the primary cover. We're going to have the first 4 pages of the book are going to be blank pages, so people can get sketches in on those. That way there won't be a blank sketch cover option for this. Maybe for the soft cover.
That's
I'm
a
actually
cool idea.
Yeah, but I'm working with the printer to see if they're going to be able to do a soft cover where they would do a cardstock but put the coated side on the interior instead of the exterior like normal. So if that's the case, then we can have a blank.
I feel like there was a missed opportunity to have a Things Are Getting sketchbook. Like just an actual sketchbook that people could take around.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it missed opportunity, just not an opportunity we've taken advantage of yet. But that's something we could
Fair
probably do. Yeah. Not opposed to that. It's a good idea. No, but yeah. So anyway, it is 9:00. So we'll wrap this up now, and like I said, the auctions will be available on the actual artists' pages, but we'll have links on the Tags group page going to those. Real quick, let's just go through it. Mike, where can people follow you?
You can find me at Uncouth Roof on Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and Twitter. And
Okay, I gotta ask, are you actually using Blue Sky and Threads?
not that much, but I go there every so often and have a look
Okay.
at things. And yeah,
All right.
but I'm mostly on Instagram if I'm anywhere, and I cross post from Instagram to Facebook and all that stuff. So
Good. Yeah, I'm not sure why they haven't set it up to where you can instantly send your post from Instagram to Threads. Consider it's all owned by the Zuck. Why he hasn't made that?
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I have to disappear. My son just ran downstairs saying that his friend and his mom have just shown up about a possible impromptu sleepover. So I gotta go parent.
Okay,
Oh,
bye
You all have
bye.
a fantastic day.
You do the
You have
same.
enough
Take
tater
it
tots.
easy.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, take care, Casey.
See, reason 862 not to have children.
Word.
Oof. Oof. They would hear so many locks locking if they came walking up to my doorstep with that bullshit. Like, lights being turned out. No. Like, my house would turn into 10:30 on Halloween. You know, porch lights, all lights off. Yeah. No. Go away, kids.
The trip lines everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, if
Claymores against the door.
If only. So, Karl, what about you, mister? Where can people find you?
Find me under Karl Waller on Instagram.
Isn't that Karl G. Waller?
You know what? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't look at my own name on here.
It is Karl G. Waller on Instagram.
I believe it is, yes.
Yes. So everybody follow him on Karl G. Waller on Instagram. And one more time, that is Karl
I
G.
figure I have to watch my tongue if I actually put my real name out. So there you go.
Yeah, so I'm going to put it on screen one more time so people are aware. It is Karl G. Waller. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So for everybody who's looking for Casey online, even though she's no longer with us, you can find her at, I'm putting it on Carl's screen, but she's at Casey_Wilson_art. So that is hers on Instagram, as well as, I'm guessing, her Facebook page that I just found out about tonight. So, closing out, Brandon, give us the details.
Okay, yeah. So I'm on Facebook under Mackintosh, and I'm also on Instagram under the Mad King.xxii 23 in Roman numerals. And I haven't been frequently posting too often. Got a lot of other bullshit going on at the moment, but if anyone's interested, you can always just shoot a message, and I will get back to you. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All my information's on the Instagram page.
Excellent. All right. Well, everybody who's here, thank you for being here. And we will be back next week. Nathan's hosting. And because I'm a hack and a fraud, also, I forgot to look up what next week's show is. We are, what is today? Oh, the 21st. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Next week is our pre-Halloween week. So it's our horror night. So you guys are going to be in a treat. That will be Paul Lamenko, Thomas Day, Casey Wilson will be back, and Nathan Phillips, hosted by
very
Nathan.
cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be a fun night of horror and dark shit. So, all right, that's it, guys. Y'all have a great night, and we will see you next week.
Be good, everyone. See ya.
All right, take care.
Have fun.